Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Today's tea is water. I'm doing a thing. I want to drink a gallon of water a day. I'm not actually doing it, but I would like to, I just have to remember to drink it. Okay, this is my birthday month. Libra season. Ow, Libra season. I've always wanted to say that because I feel like Virgo season is like a thing that everybody talks about all the time. And I'm not really into astrology, but I feel like I should be. OVO, I'm October's very own. Drake. Why is Drake so fine though? And we're both born in October, or I think so. I don't know when Drake's birthday is, but he's fine. My birthday is October 22nd, and I'm going to Vegas to see the Backstreet Boys. I mean, this is like the year of nostalgia for me. First J-Lo in September and now Backstreet Boys in October. Whose life am I living? Okay, so let's jump right into this episode. I want to thank those of you who responded to my post giving me ideas. Again, if you see anything that happens in the news, please email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com. No one emailed me this week, so you've made my job very hard, and I had to post on YouTube to get some responses. So I just want to thank everybody who gave me responses. So the first thing that I want to talk about is deadlines to register to vote is coming up. I'm not sure what it is in your state, but check to see when that is. If you're not interested in voting at all and you don't care about politics, then just ignore what I'm saying. Only 48% of the country actually votes. So I don't expect that. Is it 48%? The last time I checked, it was 48, or was it 53? It was something really low, and I was very shocked that not many people participate in voting. And I get why, but I feel like it's a right that was fought for by the descendants of slavery. So I feel like as a descendant of slavery, it is my job to honor my ancestors in that way. But if you don't feel that way, live your life. So voting locally is more important than voting federally or voting on the national stage, right? Your state is what gives you a lot of the rules and the rights that you have right now. Yes, the country, I'm not explaining this, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Just go vote. Go out and vote for your midterms in your states. Whether you're on one side, the other side, no side, vote with what works for you and your lifestyle. Don't forget to read all the fine print so you can see what other things get tacked onto those bills, those propositions. We in California voted to have weed be legal in California, which is, however, it's like a 40% tax on marijuana products. I did not read that in the fine print. Not that I smoke I don't smoke. I don't do any drugs. Marijuana is not a drug, but if it was a drug, it's expensive. It's an expensive drug. So let's move on to the next thing. Here's the tea. Brett Kavanaugh. Did you guys watch it? I posted my video the same day that I think it aired, and it was on every single news station, which kind of made me excited because it forced the country to get involved in something that is, I think, important to have conversation about. Now, whether or not you believe him or believe her, to me, at this point, it doesn't really matter because that's subjective. And I can't tell you to believe a victim if that is not how you operate. And I will not tell somebody that they're wrong if they don't believe it. I just know that I do, and I feel that nobody would come forward to do something like that and put their self out there, put their family out there, put their name out there in the manner that she did on a national, very public stage, only to lie. And now, if that's something that that you don't believe, or you find that there needs to be more evidence, or there's a lot of inconsistencies in her story, then that's fine, and I'm not here to debate that. I believe her, and I do not believe Brett Kavanaugh. I believe that men like him have gotten away with a lot of deplorable and disgusting behavior throughout the years. And I think that, of course, he's going to deny all the allegations, right? He's a lawyer. He's going for one of the highest offices in the land, and now his life has been blown open and under scrutiny, and his family and everybody's been dragged through the mud for this. Of course, he's going to deny it, especially that it happened 36 years ago. If you admit it, then we're on our way to becoming better people. And it still happens, but it will not be tolerated anymore. And we're on our way to becoming better, more evolved human beings. So, there are women, I was watching Fox News to see their side of it, because obviously their side is going to be different than mine. And I found that they put up two women who were against Dr. Ford and saying, not against, but saying that they believe that she was earnest and that she was telling her truth. However, there's a lot of holes in her story, and the fact is that she's claimed that she has a hard time getting on planes because of the claustrophobia. And then they were saying, but she's been flying all these years and without seemingly any issues. And I'm like, that doesn't necessarily mean that her feelings of claustrophobia isn't real. Like, that doesn't mean that she isn't fearful when she gets onto a plane. And then she had like an ex-boyfriend chime in and say like, oh, I never knew she was scared of planes. I'm like, that doesn't mean she wasn't. Like, some people don't divulge everything that they feel, and maybe they don't want to explain why they feel the way that they feel. Somebody actually in my comment section on the last morning tea broke it down very good for me. I had only read an article talking about the incidences that happened in college, but somebody, let me find it. Thank you. And I want to thank you so much I love it when you guys are constructive in the comment section. I think it's really important that I cultivate an environment on this channel, and I know I'm gonna get trolls, right? But I want to cultivate an environment where if I'm wrong, that you come at me with respect and you call in instead of calling out. Meaning that if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but you don't have to be like, seriously? You don't know that there was a tsunami in Indonesia? How dumb of you. Why didn't you talk about that? I'm really disappointed in you, Wah. I mean, even though that might not be the sentiment behind it, that is how I read it, because I don't know you and I'm not going to assume positive intent. Like, this is the internet, girl. I'm assuming everybody's coming at me. I'm not going to say her name because I don't know if she wants me to shout her out, but this is what the comment. I want to just provide more context because I don't think you fully went into detail about the Kavanaugh case. This case is more than 4 women saying that he was present when other men were taking advantage of them. This is a predator of sexual offense. The women who brought this to light is the ever brave and heroic Dr. Blasey Ford. She was sexually assaulted by Kavanaugh and his friend when she was in high school, and it was so serious that she believed in the moment that he would accidentally kill her because he was blocking her airway while profusely trying to rape her. And when she discovered that he was amongst many in the Supreme Court running for Supreme Court justice, she believed that it was her duty as a citizen to anonymously let the state representative know of his past offense. Before this, she had told her therapist, her husbands, a few friends of the sexual assault that haunted her for more than 30 years. Her name only became released to the public because basically out of force. But it was never her intention to speak out publicly because she wanted to protect the privacy of her family. By speaking out, she had nothing to gain from this. For a man who is up for the highest and longest position on American soil, I think it is justified a sexual assault offender, no matter how long ago it happened, to not be up for this position. He was never punished by authorities because she was too afraid and too ashamed to speak out about it. Not getting to this position, to me, is the least they could do to punish him. What he did was more than peer pressure, and it was more than culture at the time. It was willing and spinelessness, and she's the only person that had to serve time for the crime that he committed. Side note, she passed the polygraph test and has requested an FBI investigation and has completely complied amidst all the chaos. So thank you so much for that. That really helped me to understand like what the gravity of the situation was, and I absolutely agree with that. Like, they're not saying that Kavanaugh's going to go to jail, but they're saying that he doesn't need to be nominated as Supreme Court justice. I believe that they voted him to be a nominee, but now they're calling for an FBI investigation into this matter, and he said he's not going to back down. He's not going to step down. No one's going to ever get him to quit. And honestly, like, he was up there tearful, very upset, seemed like he, you know, was angry and frustrated and wanted to cry, but that doesn't bother me none. Like, again, I think that he's a professional and he is somebody who is backed up against the wall, and so he's gonna come out swinging and do everything that he can possibly do. He was very nervous, and again, his family and his daughters have to see this and have to relive this matter, and honestly, I just wish that he would be honest about the situation, because I believe her and I believe that he's lying, but he is from that old school mentality where you just deny, and I think that is just part of like this administration. Not to say that he, you know, not to link him with that, but just to say that's this part of this administration's like motto. This is how they do things right now. So yeah, I'm gonna have links down below about that. And again, I want to thank you to the subscriber who made that comment. Speaking of subscribers, you guys go on ahead and subscribe to this channel if you are not, so that you can get notifications whenever I post a video. That way you don't have to keep coming to my channel and refreshing and seeing if I've uploaded. Just go on ahead and subscribe, girl. Like, go on ahead and subscribe, dude. Bruh. go on ahead and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Follow me on all of my other social media platforms if you want to see more day-to-day things about me and what's going on in my life. But yeah, let's move on. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is, here's the tea. Okay, 2 things with the Trump administration. I try to stay away from him because he hurts my spirit. 2 things. 1, they're doing a thing where foreign ambassadors or UN members who have same-sex partners who live in the US are being forced to get married or they have to leave. And the reason why I find this to be an issue is because if they're not same-sex and they're just boyfriend and girlfriend and they're a foreign diplomat or an ambassador or work for the UN, but they're not same-sex, they're hetero couples, are they going to be forced to get married too? So that was my question. I didn't find the answer on that, but it seems odd that they're forcing the LGBT community that are diplomats that are in the UN to get married or they're going to get kicked out. I mean, get married very soon or they're going to get kicked out. I'll have all the details down below. I just kind of skimmed the article, but I've seen this on several different platforms, social media platforms, and then I looked at the article and it is true. So I'm going to put 2 things on there. One from Snopes, which is like a website that tells you if something is real or not, like what the real deal, and another one that's just like a regular liberal publication. So go on ahead and check it out if you wanted to see more in that. But I thought that was really like sneaky because we're basically paying attention to the Kavanaugh situation, and while Kavanaugh is happening, there's a slew of other things that are going on that nobody's really talking about. Trump is banning visas for same-sex partners of foreign diplomats. Oh, so he's not allowing them to come to the US. They need to get married. So that's what it is. They need to get married. Forcing someone to get married? Like, girl, not everybody wants to get married. Another thing that I wanted to mention about Trump, the article came out about Trump and his family and how they actually made their money. So Trump has always labeled himself as a self-made millionaire, but we all know that's not true, right? His father, I believe, owned like several, at least not one, car dealership. So like he grew up fairly affluent. I mean, maybe not as rich as he is now, but definitely richer than me or you. Most people who watch this, I don't know how rich you are, but you know what I'm saying? So he definitely grew up very privileged and very wealthy. And they're saying that his father, the reason why he had so much money and was able to give it to Trump at the end of the day was because he evaded taxes and he had been like in cahoots with somebody in the tax department or in the IRS and evaded paying taxes, and that they did like dirty deals and bad stuff, which anybody who's super rich in this country, I feel like, did some kind of dirty deal somewhere. There's somebody somewhere in the world who's making, 50 cents an hour working in order to get those products out to us and for them to have an amazing overhead and amazing profit the way that a lot of these companies do, or gotten away with something because, they badgered lobbyists to badger senators or badger, a representative and oil their pockets so that a law passed that isn't the best for someone somewhere in this world, right? But yeah, I mean, didn't we all know that? I mean, that's just a little tidbit. Let's go on to the next thing. Here's the tea. Okay, Kanye West on SNL. So, y'all, Kanye West, like, everybody is so upset with Kanye because they feel like he's flipped the script from the guy who got on that telethon and said that George Bush didn't like black people or doesn't care about black people. And just as I think that people grow and change in their lifetime for the better, sometimes they change and grow for the not so better, maybe the not so amazing. And I think Kanye is one of those people. I don't judge Kanye because to me, he's not a voice. Like, I know that there are people who love him and listen to him, but those people who love him and listen to his political views aren't that smart. And that's just the beginning and the end of that. Like, he is just some guy. That's like listening to Kim, she did that one thing for that one lady, great, but there are tons of people who are still in jail, for weed misdemeanors that they did back in 1998, So it's like, I would love to see more from Kim. I would love to see her working on to get more people out of prison, specifically and especially in this great state, California. It's for weed charges. But, I don't expect that from celebrities. So when they give their political advice, they're going for what works for them. And if Kanye feels like Trump is somebody that he understands because they have like dragon breath, then that's fine. I mean, dragon like energy or whatever, but probably dragon breath too. That's fine. Let him think that. Let him wear that manga hat. It is okay. Kanye, he wants to go after Trump or likes to support Trump because he feels like Trump did something that he thought no mere mortal would be able to do unless they were already established as a politician. And Trump did it, and he honors that. Kanye thinks that's great because he thinks that means that he could be president someday. And I just think that they're both delusional people. Like, it's crazy, this whole thing. And it's also weird that he is now upset with liberal media because it's 90% of the information that we get, and then he went on this rant on SNL. So I guess maybe go back. So on Saturday, he was on SNL as a musical guest. He ended up taking over for somebody, performed 3 songs, and at the end of the last song, he went on a rant about how Donald Trump is great for this country, and that how he thinks that Donald Trump is like a shaker or mover or whatever, and that it's not fair that he's not able to express his opinion about who he wants to support without people coming after him. And then he says that people, including white people, have said to him, Kanye, how could you support Trump? He's racist. And Kanye was just like, look, if I cared about racism, I would have left this country a long time ago. And I think that that statement is very true. There are some people who do not care that Trump is racist. And there are some people, me, who do care that Trump is racist. And so if for you his racism isn't an issue and you more so are interested in him shaking up the White House and shaking up our government, then I could see why you would think that he is great for the office. You're a fool, because he's not shaking up anything. He's just dismantling everything that Obama did. But that's a whole other conversation. He's not doing what you think he's doing. He's not in there changing policies, shaking shit up, making it so that our government is less partisan and that it's more like everybody is a free thinker. He's like, oh, I'm a free thinker. If you were a free thinker, Kanye, you wouldn't be for Trump. You would be for something other than that. You would want a lot of different things to be happening at one time. Like, you would have so many different opinions, but all of those opinions are shaped and based upon your biases and where you are in your life. Like, really, it's really hard to tell a rich person, yes, give your money to the poor, because that rich person did what they had to do to make that money, and now you're saying it to give it to people who didn't do what they have to do or didn't have the means to do what they needed to do to get that money. Like, come on now. The more money and more wealth that I amass as I grow in age, the more conservative I'm going to be with it. Now, there are certain things that I feel like need to be social issues, right? Like homelessness and mental health stuff. We need to have healthcare. We need to have a lot of things, because I feel like when we don't have those agencies to help people who are in need, the crime rate goes up because people are disenfranchised, and then their idea is to take from the rich as opposed to figuring out how they can proceed or figuring out how we can help them to proceed and succeed, because a lot of the laws and policies are put in place to keep the poor, regardless of race, specifically blacks and Hispanics. But regardless of race, a lot of the laws are there to keep the poor. You know, we don't talk about finance in high school. We don't talk about stocks. We don't put as much energy into teaching our youth about their money the way we should, because if every American was financially and fiscally responsible, our consumerism would go way down, because we would realize that we shouldn't be spending money on all this stuff that we don't need. Now, I'm a victim of it. Don't get me wrong. Somebody posts something on YouTube or Instagram and I'm trying to figure out how I can buy it at a discount. I get it. But what I'm saying is that there's so many factors that go into who you are as a political person and what you think. And it isn't just red and blue, black and white, rep or Dems. It isn't that at all. Now, you may side more with a certain party, but you don't have to vote with that party on every single thing. And I think that's what's kind of fun and interesting about our government. It isn't perfect by far, but it's better and good. It's better than it was, and I think that it'll only get better once we start to take in humanity and think about each other as people and work with each other. That may never happen in my lifetime, but it's something that I think that we should strive for, even if it's inch by inch by inch or centimeter by centimeter by centimeter. There's that. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. Here's the tea. There was a tsunami in Indonesia. Now, I got conflicting reports, because some are saying that it's a hoax, or there was one but it wasn't as bad, and now there's websites that are help the people in Indonesia, and it's fake news or whatever. Not fake news. I can't believe I just uttered those words. Who am I? Friday evening, about 50 miles north of the Indonesian city of Palu, the United States, whatever, they recorded a 7.5 magnitude earthquake. Experts have suggested that the earthquake triggered a submarine landslide, which forced colossal quantities of water into a long, narrow bay, which channeled directly into Palu, where the city's 380,000 inhabitants were enjoying the end of the week, many of them preparing for the beach festival. Oh my gosh. The earthquake and the tsunami reduced large portions of the wasteland and pulverized concrete and twisted up metal roofing. Jesus, this is bad. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know that a tsunami is a huge wave, right? And that huge wave is usually caused from an earthquake that happens under the water. And so it, and then it destroys. So if the earthquake hit the land and it was 7.5, but then also it was under the water as well, so it was two things that happened at once. Oh my God. Oh, this is terrible. Even Indonesian authorities struggled to respond to the aftermath of the disaster. They endured withering criticism for failing to adequately prepare Palau beforehand. It's not Palau, it's Palu beforehand. Indonesia's tsunami warning system employs more than 100 tidal gauges sensors, but none were close enough to Palu to pick up the localized wave. Oh, so they didn't even know it was coming. Many of the people on the beach and the Bayside Road have no idea the wave was coming at all. And they were getting ready for like a beach festival, so a lot of people were over there at the beach. That is terrible. So yeah, my thoughts and prayers and good vibes go out to the people of Indonesia, specifically and especially in Palu. Like, natural disasters are so scary. Like, same thing with like Hurricane Florence. Like, it's just so scary because you never know how big or how small it's going to be, and you have to prepare for the worst. And sometimes you prepare for the worst, but it's even worse than the worst you thought it could be, and that's just so scary and terrible. Speaking of Hurricane Florence, so due to kind of a tangent off of that, here's the tea. You know how we all got text messages the other day saying that there was a presidential alert? Well, it isn't from the president. It's coming from FEMA. And the reason why this alert is now in play is because they want to be able to alert all Americans to terrorist attacks or national disaster attacks. It's along the same line as the Amber Alerts that we all get, except for this one is coming from the coming from federal agency FEMA, and if ever there is a situation coming, everyone who has a cell phone will get sent a text message regarding this matter, or some kind of alert regarding this matter. And it's something that they recently passed, I think in 2016, making it so that every single cell phone carrier had to be a part of this process so that they could alert, people. Because now, you remember when we were little, it used to be on TV or it used to be on radio, and it'd be like, "Meh, meh, this is a test of the national broadcasting, blah, blah, blah." But, many people aren't necessarily on their TVs or listening to the radios the way they used to be. And so now having it delivered directly to your cell phone is the best way to communicate with all Americans. I actually kind of think it's cool. I think it sucked that it said presidential alert, because I was like, no ma'am, I don't want that. Don't want any presidential alerts. But it's not from the president, it's from FEMA. All right, you guys, so let me check. I think that is the end of Morning Tea. You guys, please email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com so that I can get these articles. Thank you so much again for those of you who responded to my post here on YouTube regarding it. I guess Cardi B got into an argument or a fight, an altercation on Saturday night at a strip club. I don't know, was she getting paid ducats to be at that strip club? Is that still a part of her like repertoire? I used to be a stripper, so now I'm still in these clubs, not sure. But she turned herself in on Monday. No charges have been filed, but they just needed to I think there was like a misdemeanor because the bartender ended up getting hurt and chairs were thrown. So she's like owed something and needs to probably see about like what's going on. And her lawyer went up there. She didn't make any comments when she was coming out, but she looked cute in that camel outfit, That is truly the end of Morning Tea, you guys. Thanks so much for all your patience with this series. I truly, truly appreciate your support. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave a comment down below. Let's go ahead and have a conversation. If you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to consider becoming a Patreon patron, please click the link down below. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social medias. All right? Thank you guys. Have a fantastic day. Bye.